the Give Divas a Chance hashtag caught a lot of attention. Obviously, went crazy viral. I'm really interested to see what's gonna come out of this. I mean, I'm not a big, I guess, fan of the Divas division, but that's mainly due to the booking of it.
Oh, no, of course.
And I hate the fact that it's become for a while now, essentially a pee break for a lot of people, right? They slot it 2-3 matches before main event, give people a break. When it wasn't like that, there used to be these matches used to, well, at least back in the days, be pretty good.
Yeah.
And we can't keep talking about back in the day, but there's talent.
No, it's true.
And I think the one thing that sort of stuck out for me was just the whole Brie Bella, Nikki Bella storyline that you and I talked about.
That's just...
And, when that started off, I actually kind of enjoyed it. It was, it kind of allowed Brie to continue off from Brian, who is now injured, and sort of put her in a storyline where she's sort of, fighting for herself and fighting for him.
Against the authority to some degree.
Against the authority, yeah. And then she, obviously went up against Stephanie, and Nikki turned on her, which then set up their match at Hell in the Cell, which was still fine because her losing, caused her to be the assistant to her sister now. But then suddenly that became nothing. It became like, after a few weeks or a few months, they were just suddenly teaming up as sisters.
It was actually within weeks. There was like points.
Yeah.
It was like there were points where Brie felt bad about interfering in matches, and all of a sudden they're back to being besties. Like,
yeah,
it's like you just said you wish she wasn't born, or you wish she died in the womb. Like, how do you go? Like, that doesn't make sense.
And I mean, you had this essentially a double turn where Brie is a face and she's going up against a heel, and I guess AJ, before AJ took that leave for a bit. And AJ pretty much said all that stuff that she did, those comments that she had said, sort of personal, in one of her last shows. But then suddenly now here we are, and both Bellas are essentially heels, and Paige and AJ are faces, and you have Natty and Naomi having their little feud between the two tag teams there. Are we gonna get this thing back on track now? I mean, obviously AJ made her return. And that's going to set up, obviously, the AJ and Paige versus Bella's tag team match at WrestleMania.
It definitely leans that way, right?
Do you think we're going to see that now that that really gained a lot of traction and that hashtag is still going? Do you think now we're going to get some consistency in the Diva storyline and not these 3-second matches?
I'd hope so, because even like the worst part about what's happening right now is even the commentators are somewhat addressed, like making comments, and it's not as like it's within the writing. But when I wasn't sure if it was JBL or if it was Michael Cole that said, what are these ladies? It was in the Usos versus Kid and Cesaro, with like, what are these ladies doing out here? They're not valets, which is true. They were both independent wrestlers. One of them held the belt at one time. It's just like, why are they being minimized in a way, right? And like for AJ Lee to come back the way she did, literally almost, I think it was within a day of those tweets between her and Stephanie, which I think it's perfect timing though, because you got to give credit where credit is due. AJ Lee and Paige are both really good in-ring performers. Their finishers are like those submissions are really, really, really impressive. Like that's on a technical level, for someone to even think of those, like it's amazing. I really do hope to see a little bit more being done, just because at the end of the day, it's, as a fan, any second I'm watching, like, and I'm like, we're both adults, we're busy guys. When I'm dedicating my time to watch something, I want it to be worth my time.
Right.
And it's like, and I believe in equality. I believe in this whole giving divas a chance thing. But they have to just keep going with it. Like, would you say that Diva show, do you think it's a good thing for them, or do you think it's a bad thing for them? Because I kind of think I've watched it maybe once. I have no shame in admitting that, and I felt it there were scenes where it reinforced some stereotypes. I don't know.
I think it really reinforced bad stereotypes about wrestling.
Yeah.
Because you already have people thinking that they're already saying fake and scripted. Yes, we know it's scripted, but then you turn it on, you see the Diva show, and you see how forced some of the storylines are and their reactions and sort of the animosity that they try to build, and it doesn't help.
Yeah, like
at least I don't think it does when these girls can perform.
No, it's true. Like every single one of them has some sort of has an in-ring ability.
I mean, Natty last year or a year and a half ago was put in a storyline where she was like farting or whatever it was. Like, it was just like such silliness when these girls can work. You give these girls 15-20 minutes. I mean, they're not going to get that much. The guys barely get that much, but
sure,
you give them a good 10 to 15 minute match and they can make something happen.
Absolutely.
You know? And it's weird for me to defend it, but when they have had the time, they can put on a good match.
Well, sure. What was it? Was it Fastlane? Me and you were watching, and we were like, was it? Yeah, it was Fastlane. It was Nikki versus Paige, and that was a good match.
Yeah,
that was a really good match for what it was.
I mean, like, Nikki and Brie, you know, from what they started off at, I mean, they've become decent workers now. And of course, Paige can work, and AJ can work, and Natty and Naomi, and I don't know what's going on with Cameron, but they can work.
No,
so,
absolutely.
I mean, I hope something comes out of this, because I don't, you know, there's nothing worse than you blink and the match is done. And I know it's actually it's easy to say, but again, when I was watching even WrestleMania 24, it's 7 years ago, I was just scrolling by some of the matches, and I literally just moved the ticker a little bit when that Diva match started.
What, the tag team match hosted with Snoop Dogg, or was it?
That one, yes.
Oh, yeah. And that's another one that
I barely moved the cursor.
Yeah.
And it was done. It was already in a backstage segment for the next match.
Oh,
and I'm like, wow, nothing, it still hasn't changed.
Yeah.
You know, and I remember hearing Nikki, I think it was Nikki in her interview recently addressing the AJ comments, where she basically talked about the squash built a better storyline. And I was trying to look at it from her view, and I don't know if that was something that was written for her to say, or she actually felt that way, as opposed to them actually having a proper 3 to 5 minute match on Raw. I guess maybe I could see the side, because her whole thing was like, why would we even bother try to put together a great match in 3 minutes? And I get that. I do. But then seeing a 30 second, that wasn't even 30 seconds, whatever it was, seeing that squash match happen, well, that didn't help.
Yeah.
But I mean, really made me step back and say, well, now I see how they're looking at it, because they want proper time to show.
No, exactly, and they do deserve it. Like, when they do, you said it best. When they've been given the platform, it's produced good matches.
So do you think we will see something change going forward? Do you think WrestleMania will just be the I hope not the end all be all to shut us up, but do you think that we will see them have that, you know, a decent match at WrestleMania? It's going to be slotted in the same spot, probably,
yeah,
third from last, to give people a break, probably after the Taker match is what they traditionally do.
It may be earlier than that, but I see the argument where it's maybe even right after the ladder match, possibly. I don't know.
I think the ladder match is going to start it. That's why I didn't mention the ladder match.
Oh yeah,
I just have a weird feeling they're going to kick off the show that way. I mean, again, it could be wrong.
But but they've done that before though, where they've kicked off with the big hitter, right?
Yeah. So do you think we will see a change? I mean, obviously he's obviously in a very unique situation with the Punk stuff going on now, with the tweets against Steph and now being there.
This is pipe bomb, man. But yeah.
I mean, they can't argue with how the fans are going to react to her, because she's always going to get a pop. It's like no one even remembers what she said last, if it was good or bad. When she comes back and that music hits, you know, she gets a reaction. Do you think it'll do more better than good, or will we just see the same thing fizzle out in 3 weeks and we're back to square one with Divas?
It's unfortunate. I think the only thing that would encourage the WWE to really stay with trying to build this division is if, you know, if they were starting to be addressed in mainstream media. This whole giving divas a chance hashtag going on, and like, it's, you know, that's the only possible way you can see them budging. I have a feeling it's sad to say it, that it's going to be short lived. Despite there being, you know what I mean, there is some really great hopes in, not just on the main roster, but even in NXT, because even earlier this week was a great match between, and it was put as the headliner, as the main event on NXT, Sasha Banks versus Charlotte. Like, okay, some people are going to know Charlotte as the one that just came to the main card, got squashed in a few minutes, and got thrown back down. But however, it was like they do have some talented female wrestlers, and even there's a couple of ones like Bayley. There's a few other ones in the NXT development system that it's gonna. There's a lot of talent out there that they need to utilize. They really do need to utilize, because it's like, what are you paying people for if you're not going to make the most out of them? Like, realistically, and the Divas TV show kind of creates a different dimension to it, but personally it's on that same channel as like the Kardashians. Why would the WWE even, it's a market to go after.
It might even be trying to get the females to, you know, take part in looking at the product when it, like the actual Raw and SmackDown. I don't know if it's helped, because the way I look at it is as, okay, so you get people watching the Diva show to invest that 30 minutes or hour or whatever it is, and then they're gonna, let's say they do give Raw a chance. They turn on Raw and they see a 1 minute match. What was it all for, really? Like, it's not like it's gonna now.
Yeah, there has to be consistency across the board, right? Like that's the thing. I don't know if I don't see, like, most any females I know that watch wrestling, they watch it for the actual wrestling. They weren't fed into the system from like Total Divas or whatever.
And I don't think most are ever.
It's a weird market they're trying to go after. I don't know, and even then, if like it goes, like I said, if they're trying to go after that market and those characters they developed an interest in aren't even being promoted or aren't even having proper matches, you're wasting your time.
It's true. All right, well, let us know what you guys think about all that, and the Give Divas a Chance hashtag that went viral. Let us know your thoughts. Where do you think it's going to go going forward? Will it get better? Will it be the same? Will it actually even get worse than what we're seeing right now? Like, subscribe, comment. Find us on Twitter under Kayfabe6. Signing out.
Have a good one.